My name is Willie Garcia. I am a printmaker turned animator, I guess. I feel like time is this thing that we say we understand and get, but we never really perceive it. If we could view our existences outside of space and time, like what would that look like? And so I kind of envisioned this kind of path that was created of all these like intersecting existences. So I kind of see this as like a grouping of individuals moving through space and time, and how we can see their paths and trajectories outside of that as like almost as a fourth dimensional being. And so I feel like these kind of become these embodiments of potential for this existence. And so this form is this like, it's very abstract, but for me it really is. I wanted to create this kind of fluid, ever-changing, and that has all possibilities of existing in any form. And so just trying to embody what queerness looks like as like a thing. And so it turned into this like abstract form that is this like ribbon form that really it was derived from the idea of the Mobius strip being an unorientable shape. And so it's this form that has no sides but has two sides, and is an edge but isn't, and is a continuous form. And so it kind of was this thing like, how can I make an unorientable form that talked about potentiality? I have another series of screen prints that are more traditional style of printmaking, and as I make those, I make these layered monotypes, and I noticed that they were like capturing very specific moments in my making, and I was very interested in that like effect of layering these images up over time. And it became like one piece started at the beginning of 2018, and it wasn't done until the end of 2019. And so I had this like object that had like made it through every edition that I've made in that process. And so this was how I like translated that into a larger format. And then this layer of animation kind of happened accidentally. I had this piece on the wall, and it's just so delicate in places that I feel like things are gonna rip really easily. So I didn't want to have it just laying flat or rolled or something. I wanted it, so I was just like keeping it on the wall of my studio, and I tested a projection over it just as like I needed to see how big the projection could get in this amount of space. And then I just like loved the kind of weird layering that was happening. It becomes about the like visual part of someone's experience versus this like other part or this hidden part of the experience as well. And it's just like with each of these pieces, there's moments and times that if you spend the time with the work, if you acknowledge the surface, or as you get closer in the space, things start to change, and you start to claim a little bit more about the object or the print. And I feel like that's the same way with like existing as a human generally. Like we exist as surface, we exist as multiple things at once, and then as people get to know each other or spend time with each other, there are all these facets that you just don't have access to unless you're in that intimacy that is created between friendships, relationships, whatever. And so I feel like there's just these intimate moments that happen with the work that aren't necessarily obvious, and just this subtlety that I think is important to the way the body interacts with the space, the way your shadow masks, but then also then you start to see these like kind of more vibrant shadows that aren't created by light and it's like because of the fluorescence on the back. And so I think that that's like an important aspect too, especially to this piece. Like I want people to be with it and to see that, and every section is like a slightly different color, so it like goes from purple to yellow. And so it's this it changes as you walk across it too. And so a lot of the work was about moving through this place, and like being able to see the top of the animation in the other room is like seeing the top of a mountain that you're moving towards. And I really wanted this like exploration and this journey to happen. And even as you like, if you get close to it, you start to see yourself in it. And again, I just wanted to just hint at like our own existence with the work. It wasn't about like, it wasn't just about this like reflective nature, but it's like being able to see ourselves in these pieces and in these moments, just like the shadow, this like slight reflection that happens when you start to look at the vinyl, and when you block out the animation, you start to see yourself again. And so it's like when you see your shadow on that piece, and I just wanted these like slight little moments of in each piece to just kind of highlight the person that is interacting with it, that it was like the piece is engaging with the viewer. I mean, I wanted to create a space that was the sacred queer space without it necessarily being religious. I grew up Catholic and Christian, and I'm an atheist now, and so when I like moved on, there's still something that I wanted that needed to be bigger than me. So it was the cosmos and like this idea of space and the universe that became this thing that was bigger than me, that I wanted to know about, that I wanted to know more about. And I think that this piece becomes this celestial body. But I'm okay with people applying spiritual aspects to the work, because I just think it's just going to happen when we start to think about the universe and our existence and how we exist or why we exist.